Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Mundane Mad, here with some really good news for you, because we really fucking need it at this point in time. So, last weekend, all throughout California, I'm talking statewide, was the third annual Reclaim and Rebuild operation, right? Or Operation Reclaim and Rebuild, which essentially is the combined efforts of about 30 law enforcement agencies tackling human trafficking and sexual exploitation victims and rescuing them and arresting people who have been caught trying to harm them or traffic in them, so on and so forth. All in all, there were 474 arrests made. 36 people were arrested on alleged pimping charges. 142 were arrested for solicitation charges. 28 children who were victims were rescued, as well as 27 adult victims were also rescued. So that is a great thing. And it's the third time that it's happened, which is awesome. It's a crackdown, really meant to kind of send shockwaves through that community. And I don't even want to call it a community. It's really like a horrible, fucking industry. You know what I mean? It's just it's cottage industry of fucking bullshit is what it is, hurting children and other victims and everything else. Now, I'm a person who believes in legalized prostitution, but this is not where you go with that. Like the way that the cops did this is they did a lot of work with the catching girls walking on the street and arresting those pimps. They also had agents that would imitate being younger, impersonate being a younger person on chat rooms in order to lure in potential predators that way. And then, just basically crack down on them like a gigantic episode of To Catch a Predator. And all without the flair of Chris Hansen. I bet you he's looking at it right now going like, damn it, I should have been there and helped out and told just rented out an auditorium with 474 chairs and just brought everyone in and said, will you take a seat? But no, this is a good thing, because now the operation is, as I said, it's reclaim and rebuild. So they rescue these people, and then they are working to try to help them get back on track, to help rebuild their lives after being victims of human trafficking and sexual exploitation, which is a really, really good program. It's one that I wholly support, and it's one that I want to see happen in more states. And I'm sure that it does. I'm sure no state is lax on those kind of laws or anything else. And they do very tirelessly work to try to help children and people who are exploited and victims of human trafficking and sexual abuse and stuff. So at least now there are 474 people who have been implicated in this. And that's going to very much have an impact, I think, on at least things for a bit, because unfortunately, these motherfuckers are like cockroaches, and they will always find a way to keep working. New people will come in, and it's a never-ending process. But it's one that law enforcement has to remain vigilant on. These groups have to remain vigilant on. And it's one of those situations where if you see something, say something, help somebody out. Don't let kids be caught up in these situations. And again, like I said, I'm all for legalized prostitution if the person's over the age of 18. And I'd love that. I think that would definitely do a lot to remove the adult victims from this particular situation. I believe the same way about legalized marijuana. It would do a lot to impact the cartels, the crime organizations that are running the show, that are making billions of dollars a year off of people suffering. If we would find a way to legalize it, to make it less taboo, to tax it, we would definitely all be better off. But at the same time, this sort of event is something that I want all of you out there that are pro Pizzagate to pay very close attention to. Because those of you out there that are still trying to dig through James Alefantis and John Podesta and trying to turn nothing into something, there are law enforcement officers that over the course of 3 days last weekend did everything you want to do at an official level, at an effective level, and at a non-hyperbolic and full of bullshit level. What you should be doing is very similar to what Anonymous did in Canada by trying to help track down potential, predators and then turn them into the police. What you're doing, Pizzagators, is that you're spending your time attempting to go after what is effectively a ghost that doesn't exist. But there are children out there that are being exploited. There are kids out there that are being injured, that are being human trafficked, everything else. And instead of trying to focus on saving them, you're just whining about crap that isn't real. And then David Seaman, I'm looking at you directly. You call yourself a journalist, but all you do is talk about cryptocurrency and how the Bitcoin is going to save the economy. All right, if you're a journalist, why don't you look into these sort of things and actually try to help kids instead of furthering endangering them by drawing resources away from actual human trafficking and focusing on a really dumb, stupid Instagram account. So that's essentially what I want to say to those people, because I don't feel they do any good. The law enforcement here did a great job. They've all done tremendous work. And they deserve to be commended for their actions. Sadly, it's a once-a-year operation. Something like this would be great if it was more frequent, but it does take time to investigate, to acquire evidence, to actually make sure that they're operating within the realm and the letter of the law, so these people aren't able to get off on a technicality. And that is where, unfortunately, when it comes to internet vigilantism, which is exactly what the people of Pizzagate are, it causes problems. So this is a situation that I think should be looked at from people who want to help track down child predators online. And they should, if you come across something, submit the information, let the authorities do their work. Don't make it up into something that's more hyperbolic than it is. And you know, do your best to actually protect children instead of chasing ghosts. And to the law enforcement officers of all 30 agencies in California that were behind the third annual operation, Reclaim and Rebuild, you guys are fucking heroes, and you deserve every accolade and every pat on the back coming your way.